Good morning, Metro Nui! Welcome back to another episode of the Barraki Talk Show. We're your hosts, the Mielik brothers,
Jacob,
Samuel,
Thomas, and we're glad you're joining us today as we talk our way through the weird and wondrous world of Bionicle. But first, coming up on the Barraki Talk Show.
The existence of man tax also begs into question, is there the existence of woman tax?
and in his anger, he became Carpar.
Yeah. Now I'm just imagining Tacadox as like Nick Fuentes. All that and more coming up on the Barraki Talk Show.
6 beings chosen by God to rule the universe on his behalf. 6 beings who commanded armies and even the services of the Brotherhood of Makuta. 6 beings who had everything they could want and more. 6 beings who decided to overthrow God. These are the Barraki.
I thought that was a pretty cool intro line.
or 6 beings who got mutated into little freaks.
But little did they know, there was another being made, one that could rule them all.
Lord of the Beans.
Exactly.
One bean to rule.
The bean Barraki. It's like a bean burrito, but underwater. That's disgusting.
That is really gross, actually. I don't like that image.
No. So, should we get into what the heck? Oh, wait, yeah.
Well,
we got to introduce our special guest star.
For this episode, we have our special guest, Arthur.
Woo!
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hello.
And Arthur is one of our artists. You guys have heard about him, and now you get to hear from him. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Arthur.
Hello, I am a concept artist and illustrator, and yeah, I like Bionicle. Yeah.
Excellent.
You're in the right place.
That is the right thing to say.
Illustrator? I barely know.
Hey, just so we can get this out of the way, because Thomas asks everybody, who's your favorite host?
Matoro. Yeah.
Good answer. All right, let's move on.
I don't think you understood the question. Okay, so let's dive.
I'm just preparing for the future new host to come, but don't worry about that.
The cooler host who will put us all to shame and then get killed. Spoilers.
How do you know about the host but not know that he's going to get killed? But you know...
I do not know who the host is, but know that he's going to die.
Well, it's easy. I can see parts of the future.
He has very limited future. Or what's Bezon have?
Limited future sight. Yeah, limited future sight.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's like limited invulnerability.
They love that qualifier limited in Bionicle.
But without further ado, let's dive deep into the Barraki lore, huh?
I think we've already used that one.
Oh, dang it. Did we do it for the
I think
Toamari?
we did it for the Toamari.
Okay, let's
sink
swim
into
deep.
it.
Let's submerge ourselves in this deep lore.
Yeah, okay.
That's good. I like that one.
It's okay.
See, the funny thing is about the dive deep thing, you've used it not once, not twice, but now this is your 3rd time trying to use it, and Samuel's called you out every time.
Well, maybe if he didn't call me out, people would like the joke more. It's genius. Anyway, we're going to start with the Barraki overall, so we get kind of a clarification on what the heck they are. So starting off, Barraki means warlord in Matoric. Now, this means they are warlords. I think that should be
really? I never
shocked.
would have guessed.
I
That's sarcasm, by the way.
However, one thing...
Sarcasm. That's original.
One thing that sets them apart from other villain groups is that all the Barraki are from different species. So it's not like all Vizorak or all Borak or all Rakshi. All of them are just different guys from around the universe who decided to conquer everything and be evil, essentially. And all of them can wear Kanohi, but they see it as a crutch, so they do not. And now we have to look at some ugly, some cool faces. So keep that in mind.
So they just see it as a crutch because it, Because they just want unadulterated power, like raw power. Like they just want all of
because
their
they think of
cunning and
themselves
power
as
come from themselves.
They think of themselves as perfect specimens.
Okay.
So like using masks, like it's optional, bro. And anyone who does is a massive loser.
Okay.
That's
A massive loser.
a massive loser. Exactly.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And so one interesting thing to note is that all the Barraki were created when their species were created. So like they've been around since the beginning. So if there is a claim to like physical perfection, they actually have a pretty good one for it. And the Barraki, the Barraki Encyclopedia, the Bionicle Encyclopedia even alludes to the fact that they actually were perfect specimens of their species. Which I'm like, that actually adds a bit of nuance to
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Prydek is looking in the mirror and he's like, a perfect paragon.
Oh, now we got to do a Beauty and the Beast Gaston thing for... what Barraki rhymes with Gaston? None of them. Nocturne.
Mantax.
Nocturne's not even a Barraki, technically.
Never mind. So anyway, going back, the Barraki, when they were warlords, they were all conquering stuff. And they were actually ordained by the Great Spirit himself to rule and govern the universe. And this is why the Brotherhood of Makuta serves them, because they also followed the will of the Great Spirit at the time. And so they're like, yeah, what are we gonna do? And there are other factors that play into like kind of this divine ordination, but know that it actually was at some point a fact that Madanui is like, yeah, they can rule, which is crazy to me. But we'll get into it more later, promise that. However, on land, when they were conquering stuff, most of their armies were actually pretty similar. So it was made of like Matoran, criminals, ruffians around, although some of them had more of their own species in their army because, yeah, that's just seems like they would be. And underwater, they led armies of their various animal-related counterparts because they all got mutated to look like animals, which allowed them to bully these animals into submission. And so the animals would be like, oh man, this giant crab is telling me to do things. I guess I'll follow him because he's cooler and smarter than stronger than me. So that's why they can only lead armies of their own associated kind. They didn't just randomly pick those armies and happen to look like them.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so imagine it like Drago Bloodfist from How to Train Your Dragon 2, where like he has the dragon cloak to make him look like a dragon, and is like psycho and bizarre, and they're like, fine, I'll follow you. That's essentially how it is. One important thing to note about the armies is that they don't understand Matoric. They just kind of go off of like vibes and signals, and they don't have complex relationships with the Barraki. It's more just like he's the leader, and all of their armies underwater numbered in the thousands. I thought that one was interesting because I'm like, wow, they got a lot of Takea sharks over there. Anyway, so that is the basics of the Barraki, and now we'll get into the beginning events of the Barraki. How did they come to be at the bottom of the ocean in a giant pit?
You're probably wondering how
Sorry,
I
like
got
now
here.
all I'm thinking about is just like one tiny little island completely surrounded by a bunch of sharks. They're really funny. And then like for 1 hour in the day, they're like, wait, it's feeding time. Let's go completely to the other side of the planet or something. I don't know.
Now I'm just imagining if the Barraki decided to attack Voinui, and like thousands of sharks just start swimming onto the shore or whatever. Just like flopping like fish. Be kind of funny. Brutica is like, I guard this island, and like 1,000 Takea sharks. He's like, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Okay?
Yeah, I'm noticing.
So back
Samuel,
to
put the
beginning
clip
events.
from the Lego movie with all the sharks in the, the first Lego movie.
Hey,
Yes,
that's a
that's
good
what I was
point,
thinking.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Lasers! Sharks! Laser sharks!
Lasers.
Sharks.
Laser sharks.
Anyway, the Barraki were created 95,000 years ago. That is known as quite a bit of time.
Really?
Yes. And they were specifically appointed by Madanui to be rulers of the universe as an efficient way to govern it. Because
Okay.
the beginning of the universe
That makes more sense.
was kind of chaotic and stuff, like Hand of Artaka running around, Ancient Giant Rahi, stuff like that. So, I'm like, this shows that the beginning of the universe must have been nuts if these guys were a better alternative. Because they were
Bad.
brutal and kind of evil in how they went about things. They were strictly order. They were not like, they were lawful evil, I guess I would say, or lawful neutral. They were not good in any way.
And this
They
is
were very,
different
like,
from basically
authoritarian.
every other dictator ever. How?
Well, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
yeah,
they were
wait,
straight
Thomas,
up
hold up.
authoritarian.
Are you telling me that the bad guys from this wave were the bad guys?
Wait, the
What?
bad guys
Yeah.
were the bad guys?
Mhm.
Impossible.
This is too
Oh,
complex
no.
for my tiny little brain. I can't do it.
Yes, I just think it's funny that Matanui's like, these guys are evil, but, you know, it's fine. It's like, okay, bro, you do you, I guess.
I would like to acknowledge the fact that Matanui... Okay, wait, actually, did Matanui create the Barraki? Or were...
I believe Matanui created
Because
all their species.
Matanui created the Skakti.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I
it's-
think he created all the
Okay,
Barraki
so it's
species.
like-
Plot twist, the Barraki created Markjuly.
What?
What if the Barraki created Matanui?
Yep.
Matanui is just a figment of their
The
imagination.
Barraki are actually all great beings in disguise.
Anyway, about your point, could he have created non-evil species? Their species aren't inherently evil.
Okay.
These guys just conquered everything because they were evil and wanted power and land. So,
Wait, wanting power and land is evil now? Man, wokeism.
well, if I had power and land, I would be a good guy, guys. Trust me. Trust me. But these guys, no, they're bad.
Thomas is like, I could wield the One Ring.
Yeah. So they went around and they conquered most of the known universe in 1,000 years, which is pretty impressive. It's not Alexander the Great impressive, but it's okay. And after this, after they'd all conquered their various corners, they weren't yet aligned. Then Prydac was like, hey, what if we teamed up everyone? Because then we would rule pretty much the entire universe. And well, he's like, we'll call it the League of Six Kingdoms. I don't know
wow,
if he
really
actually...
creative name.
Yeah. It's honestly a pretty cool name. Like, I'm
Not
fine
really.
with it.
I mean, it's generic, but it does sound powerful.
Yeah.
It's no Lithuania.
That's
It's a
true.
good
It is
point,
not
yeah.
the
It is-
kingdom of
It is
Lithuania.
very literally not Lithuania.
But
Okay, I
spiritually,
honestly
it's a
don't
bit
think.
like Lithuania.
I honestly don't think 1,000 years is actually impressive to conquer what, like 12 islands,
Well, no, they conquered.
There's a lot of islands.
and they never conquered Metronui.
That is true, but that's for specific reasons that we'll get into.
I'm just saying.
You're just saying.
I'm just saying.
Jacob's a hater. He hates himself.
No, I'm just saying it's not impressive.
Anyway, what they did manage to conquer that may be more impressive to you is that it's easier to say what islands they did not own. They did not own the mythical island of Artaka. They did not own Metronui. However, they did own Karzani
Nice.
somehow, which I'm like, huh? How did they do that?
How did they do that?
They also didn't own Daxia, Odina, or Destral, which are the main three hubs
Yeah.
of the main three factions. They also didn't own some southern islands, but that's because no one had gone down there and they're like full of Zyglak and whatever. So it's like,
Okay, so like I
Everything
said,
else-
exactly-
1,000 years
yeah.
to conquer like 12 islands. That's exactly
well, they
what I
conquered
said.
the entire southern continent, all of the northern continent. They had Zia. They had wherever Sidorac's from, Stelt. They had Zakis. They had literally every other island that exists.
It took the United States like 10 years to annex Hawaii.
Yeah, well, they didn't have nuclear bombs. I guess
Yeah, they did.
they didn't have Toa. Toa were not working for them. They didn't have nuclear bombs. And the Makuta weren't fighting for them either. So they didn't have that. They just had normal armies full of like crazy Rahi and stuff. So, whatever. I digress. It's not that impressive. Fine. Whatever.
I'm just saying 1,000 years is a long time.
Yeah, but they were also...
Not in the Bionicle universe, though.
Yeah.
In the Bionicle universe, 1,000 years is like one.
And they were also pretty stable governments. So, that's also...
Yeah, that
it
is
wasn't just like
impressive, I'll
mass
say that.
conquering.
Yeah.
But anyway,
The Empire took over the entire galaxy in like 10 years.
well, they started with the entire,
entire
galaxy. He just turned
republic,
into
yeah.
a different government. He didn't conquer anything.
Eh.
They didn't even have like a single battle. I digress. Anyway, when Prydac proposed this, Takedox was the first to join. And this kind of started a cascade because others wanted to join on their own. But also, if he joined his kingdom with Takedox's kingdom, it would cut off Kalma's kingdom from anywhere else. So Kalma's like, fine, I'll join because otherwise I'm kind of sunk. So I thought that was kind of a cool little maneuver. And this was, of course, all allowed by the Great Spirit.
really quick, do we actually know which islands were owned by which Barraki?
Yes, we know which areas were
Because
owned
I'd
by
be
the
really
Barraki.
interested to see how that map works.
We'll get into it. And there are fan-made maps. There's no official map, but there are fan-made maps that show the areas they had conquered. Now, they also plotted to take over Metronui because they did not own Metronui, and in fact, they had a trade agreement with Metronui because it was its own separate territory. Because as we have noted before, like I think it was in Legacy of Evil, Metronui is not just important, it is vital to the functioning of the entire universe. Like, you don't want to destroy or harm anything on Metronui. And so they're like, oh man, what if we went and took over Metronui? Wouldn't that be so cool and whatever? And this is where I believe the Great Spirit pulled back his divine right. He's like, no. Because this is when the Brotherhood of Makuta gets wind of these plans and is like, okay, we're going to go take him out because that's not a good thing. So that's when they all get taken out by the Brotherhood of Makuta, all their armies obliterated, disbanded, and then Makuta's like, I'm going to kill you. Botar shows up. I'm taking him, zoink, straight to the pit. And so then they were all banished. Imagine living in the universe for like the first like 15,000 years and then spending the next like 80,000 years in jail. Like, you spent like 5 times longer in jail than you have your entire lifespan before that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's rough.
there are people who do that.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just crazy.
It
to
is
me.
crazy.
Like, after year like 50,000, like, what do you have left to do? like you've thought every possible thought you could possibly imagine.
They've sung 1,000, a million trillion balls of beer on the wall like 100,000 times.
Jackson's like, please stop.
99 Volo spheres on the wall.
Oh,
Hey, that was pretty
yeah,
good.
that's pretty good.
I have to say though, like, this is lending credence to the theory that like 1,000 years in Bionicle is like 1 year for, like, you know, normal humans.
I don't know
because,
if it's like 1
well,
year. I think it's like 10
but
years.
I'm thinking of it in those terms because, like, you know, if you said they spent, what was it, like 80,000 years?
Yeah, roundish.
You know, if they were, you know, if it was 20,000 years before that, you know, they were in their. Now it's more impressive if they were all conquering the entire universe in the equivalent of, like, you know, being 19 or whatever. That's pretty impressive.
Well, they're all kind of born fully created, so they don't really have maturity levels.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, it is kind
And
of
then,
interesting.
you know, and then if you're looking at it like they spent, you know, 80 years in prison, then I guess that's not totally unreasonable.
Yeah, but if you go each one's like 10 years, then they spent like 800 years in prison. And
Which
that's
is a
still
very
nuts.
long time.
Imagine they have the cell walls with like all the years or the days ticked by.
They've actually enlarged their cell
Yeah.
by like I don't know 100
They're
square
able to
feet
dig their
because
way
they're
out.
digging
Yeah.
their cell wall for each mark.
Yeah, I
That's
just feel
actually
like the way that
hilarious.
the narrative treats time is like there's so much time happens between things, or there's so much time between things, but really, like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, the amount of stuff that happens is like, you know, what would happen in like a year or 10 years on Earth, you know?
Well, we've talked about the weird time scale, like how things seem to take way longer until it comes down to this period of the story where it's like then everything just speeds up to an insane degree, right? And so it could be something along those lines, right? That it, like they literally do live slower, like and it's just but yeah, I mean there's no way to know for sure. It's all just speculation.
So, going back to the events then, since we're done speculating over here. So the Great Cataclysm happened, broke open the pit, mutated everyone, they got out, killed Hydraxin, but then they're stuck underwater because now they can't breathe air, and they're like, dang it. So then they built new armies, and they built a new fortress. And that brings us to where we can talk about them specifically. So now we cover the Barraki, each on their own. And this first one is, of course, Prydak, who's a shark. In case you couldn't tell, he's very shark-looking.
He's
dude.
the most important Barraki. And I'm not just saying that because he's me.
Is he the most important Barraki? I think Colin was the most important.
No,
Really, if
come
you
on.
think about
The
it.
whole thing
At
really...
least we know Mantax isn't the most
The
important
whole thing
Barraki.
basically really hinges
Oh,
around
How do you feel
Prydak,
about
right?
that?
No, but was Prydak not shown as like the leader of the Barraki in
Yeah.
He
So,
is,
Prydak
yeah.
is the leader of the Barraki. And so we'll get into like his position and personality.
But just because he's the leader doesn't mean he's the most important.
True.
Matoro.
True.
Oh.
Fair point.
Fair. I mean, Koma did also make all of the squids as the
Yep.
gimmick launcher for that year.
I think there's
Yeah.
a distinct
That half of
possibility that Kalma is actually the most effective Barraki.
And we will get into that, believe me.
Thomas is like, I have a position to defend.
Yes. I have an agenda to uphold. So, Prydak was the leader of the Barraki, and how he rules is through power and fear. Though this carries some measure of respect from the other Barraki, but they respect what he is able to accomplish. They don't respect him as a person, because he's a jerk and kind of a loser. He's not really a loser. He's like if Sidorak was actually shown
To be
accomplishing
competent.
what it said he
Yeah.
does, right?
Yeah.
And so
He's just
I don't think at any
dirtbag,
point
Thomas.
is Prydak incapable or incompetent.
no, yeah, he's always shown to be very. You can always understand why he got into the position he is.
Right.
So he also used to work for the Brotherhood of Makuta, which is maybe where part of his military prowess came into play.
At this point, who doesn't work for the Brotherhood of Makuta at some point?
There's only been two, Brutaka and Prydak.
And
well,
all of the
And
Toa.
Rudaka, all the Toa,
wait, all the Toa.
Like,
Oh, the Toa Haga.
the Toa
well, and
I thought you
Haga.
were talking about.
maybe not
And the
worked
Metru.
directly for, but definitely worked with commonly. Like,
yeah, true.
in the past.
Does teaming up with Makuta himself count as working for the Brotherhood? 'Cause
Yes.
then
I think
Vakama
so.
works
If
for the
he's
Brotherhood.
giving you the orders.
Well, you know, he was just following orders. But anyway, so Prydak ruled
Good
the
soldiers
northeast
follow
part
orders.
of the universe. So this included Zia, which he presumably used to make weapons for his army. And this is kind of
Wait, so he had controlled Zia?
Yep,
Dang.
I know. And because he was having them make weapons for his army so early on in the universe, it's kind of implied this is how they became the premier weapons manufacturers of the entire universe, because they got the industry set up and they had the political will and capital to start making them. So when the leagues fell, they're like, we're free agents now, and they just sold to anyone. So I'm like, that's actually a really cool origin story. Now we move on to Prydak, the person. What is he like as a guy? Well, he's hot-headed, but he is rational. So the only twist, wait, what did I even write here? Only twist is...
The only
yeah.
twist
So-
is that Thomas can't read his own handwriting.
So, like, he'll get mad at stuff, right? He'll be like, grr, I'm gonna get you. But he doesn't pursue it like an idiot. He doesn't run into, like, a minefield to go get someone. He's like, I'm just gonna attack you when you're not looking, or I'm gonna get you when, you know, the time is right. So, that's kind of the thing. But because he is so hot-headed and aggressive, that makes other people around him want to just give him the right of way so he doesn't attack, because he is that competent rationality. So this is what prompted him to become the leader of the Barraki, because he is the most aggressive and he can back up his claims, which I think is kind of cool. The only twist on his hot-headedness is that we actually do know the curse that the Mask of Life gave to him, and that's when he's touching it, he becomes super paranoid and like kind of schizophrenic and really seething mad at everything around him. So that's why, like, when he first got it, he was almost like cracking it with his, you know, might or whatever, because he was scared and paranoid, because that was the curse of the mask. However, when he is not in his paranoid schizophrenic state, he will negotiate with people and he'll leave them alive if they suit his needs. So he's obviously, you know, kind of good at his job. He's also very good at tactics, strategy, and politics, though he has a major advantage in political negotiations because of his dominant personality and personal lethality. So like Takadox and Kalma are better in the political arena with the resources they have, because they're able to leverage them more effectively. However, Prydak essentially has a large head start on them, because he can just be like, you don't like it, I'm gonna kill you. That's how it kind of plays out. He is also entitled and self-absorbed. He literally thinks he is the best, most perfect guy on the planet, And he will even tell that to Makuta himself. And he also tried to overthrow the Great Spirit. So obviously he goes beyond a little fool of himself. He legitimately has a god complex.
To be fair, his name is Prideak.
Good point. I wonder what the six deadly sins.
Yeah.
I just want to say he's right.
That's called being an enabler, Jacob. You're not supposed to do that.
Jacob's like, know him.
Just saying.
Of course I know him.
He's me. He also hates Alec because Alec is insubordinate and his electric shocks can actually hurt Prideak pretty effectively. So that's why one of the reasons he's always beating up on him, because he's like, I don't want you to do stuff. But he also has additional traits, because he has an army of Takea sharks, which, as we saw, are just like biomechanical sharks. He is the fastest, and he is the second strongest of all the Barraki, with only Karapar being physically stronger than him. And we'll get to those stats later, because there actually is a funny kind of tidbit with them. But going back to Prideak, he also has enhanced senses and can sense electrical fields. This is an actual ability that sharks in real life have, because they can like detect micro disturbances to like find out where fish are. I'm not a biologist. I don't know exactly how it works, okay?
Wait, you're not a biologist, really?
No. Though I may give the impression through my various detailed diatribes about things like bugs, I am not actually a bugologist. So, he also has teeth that can bite through protosteel. However, this is a little debated because the encyclopedia says it can bite through protosteel, but Greg has said no, it cannot bite through protosteel. So it's like, well, can it or can it not? I like to think it can.
To get hung up over.
What?
It seems like an odd thing to get hung up about.
Well, no, because like protosteel is like the strongest material in the entire universe. So if his teeth that he got from just being mutated is able to bite through that, that is insane. Because that means he could just like start gnawing on Makuta and actually get through his armor.
Fair point, I guess.
I guess we need Christian Faber to confirm or deny as like a third party
tiebreaker.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. I'm just picturing Prideak just like on Makuta's leg like a little puppy.
Yeah. So yeah, I just thought it was an interesting point, and then that'd be another thing that can get through protosteel, Levoc call acid style. However, he has a shark tooth blade that is almost as good as protosteel, is what is stated to be almost as good as protosteel. So I'm like, we know definitively he could bite through his own sword.
Dang.
I just thought that was kind of funny. And also, funny. So my wrapping up thoughts on Prideak is that I think he is portrayed well. He's menacing, he's powerful, and he's hot-headed, but he doesn't come off as stupid or unrealistic. He's very believable as a warlord and the leader of the Barraki specifically, which is a tough act to pull off, but Greg manages to thread that needle, and I think it's cool. As opposed to like Zaktan, who like, he's the leader essentially in name only, and they try to kill him like 7-8 times. Like, they're always gunning for him because they hate his guts. Whereas the Barraki are like, no, we're fine with him being the leader. Any thoughts on the Barraki? Sorry, on Prideak.
I was like, yeah, thoughts on the
Well,
Barraki.
he's a Barraki.
I don't really think about Prideak in my day-to-day, to be honest. I think more about Kalma, so like, come back to me then.
Good answer. Oh, okay, so now we come to Kalma. Hey.
Whoa.
Any thoughts on Kalma?
Oh no.
So, Kalma is a squid guy, which means he has an army of squid. But when he was a warlord on the land, he ruled the northwestern part of the universe. This has no notable islands in it. It's just where he ruled. So, I put this down, and this is unbiased facts, okay?
He's not cool like Prideak controlling Zia. Just saying.
That was pure luck. Prideak just happened to be closer. If Kalma was closer, he would have had it.
Sure.
And then he wouldn't have needed the League of Six Kingdoms. He would have just crushed everyone. Yeah, I didn't know he would be like, I'm leaving it all to this guy, okay? But of course, only the objective truth here on the Barraki Talk Show.
Right.
Anyway.
No bias at all.
No, we're not Bionicle, okay? That was a pretty good one. Come on. No laughs?
Yeah, that was,
I'll give you a pity chuckle.
I get no respect, I tells you. Anyway, I put that Kalma is probably the most intelligent Barraki, and he is also socially intelligent, which helps him to be kind of an effective schemer in the ranks. So he doesn't give away his own plans or thoughts, like he doesn't volunteer information, but he will still cooperate when needed to, and will do things that help the entire team. So like we see this, like when he's giving them all the life-draining squid. He's like, okay, I'll make these squid, I'll give it to everyone else. But we also know that he has control of the entire supply, and he has control over squid. So it's like, oh, he has a lot of the cards in that situation. So I just think that's a fun little thing. And he's also very low-key, but in kind of like, he's a bit of an all-rounder like Kongu, where it's like he doesn't have anything particularly stand out, but he's very competent in pretty much every area. I'm getting muddled up here because it is kind of that Kongu territory where he's like, it is just an all... It's hard to describe because we'll get to it in the final thoughts.
I guess what you're saying is it's hard to dislike him.
Yes, exactly. He's perfect. He's the marketable plushie mascot.
which is so funny that they made the squid guy like the really smart one. You know, they're like,
hey, squids are smart.
I was gonna say, what do you have against squid, huh?
it's just a look thing. You know, like you look at Prydac and you go, okay, that makes sense why he would be like the cunning one. You know, like he just has that
Prydac's
look.
not cunning though.
Well, not cunning, I guess, but like shrewd. But I don't know, something along those lines.
He's aggressive and tactical. He's not cunning or shrewd though.
I
Carapar's
guess you
actually
could
the
call him
cunning
a
one.
slimy little guy. Start a new
He's some
camp
sort
on the
of
side, you know?
Slimy
It's
little
like you look
freak.
at Kalma, and you get kind of the same feeling as you get from like, I don't know, from like Kreka or something. You know, like you get like, I don't know. To me, he gives off like the brute vibes. You know what I mean? He doesn't give off like just intelligent vibes. I don't know. Maybe I'm way off base on that.
He kind of gives more spiritual vibes to me. Like, I would see him being a monk or something, I guess, because of the 3 eyes. It's like, okay, yeah. But, like, he ends up being, like, the scientist and low-key schemer, which doesn't go with what you'd initially think. But I think for a squid motif, it makes sense, because squids are very intelligent, and they can also hide and plan. So it's like, you know, that checks out for me. But that's just my opinion. That's just a theory. A Bionicle theory. So, now we get into the nitty-gritty of
by the way,
Kalma.
there's also a theory, like, there was a video on YouTube by Aurora Nuva, where he posed that all of the Barraki possess the traits of the opposite element. Like, the red guy is all tactical and thinking like the ice guy usually is. And, you know, the white character being Prydac is mostly very hot-headed and stuff. And it's like a consistent theme throughout all of the Barraki.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
I think I watched that video. I'll have to go back and check it.
But you didn't bring it up, did you?
Yeah, Thomas,
it got me there.
You're slipping.
Call me Jimmy the way I'm slipping. Anyway.
What?
Never mind. So, the nitty-gritty of Kalma. He has 3 eyes, but the third one is blind. You may think, oh, that's a bummer. But he actually got blinded by Prydac. Prydac is the one who blinded his third eye because they got into a fight. I'm like, oh,
So
that's
he
a
was
bummer.
blinded by pride?
Oh! I bet that's why he did it. I'm sure that's why Greg wrote that in. He also, though, has tentacles on the back of his head that can sense movement and stuff. So he's never really bummed out about like missing his third eye because he's like, I have tentacles that can see all the way behind me. It's pretty based, honestly.
Has eyes in the back of his head.
Exactly. He also has an army of giant squid, which is based. I'm like, giant squid? That's what I want my army made up of. Like, it's way better than sharks.
I mean, the giant squid in that one Clone Wars arc were pretty darn cool. Except they were mechanical.
I was going to say, I think those are mechanical squids, but yes, they are super cool. He also found and continues to create the small squids that they use for the launchers. And he has a big tentacle on his arm, and though it looks like in the set that he's holding it like a weapon, that's actually just like it's a tentacle.
Interesting. I never knew that. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, because he's always like wrapping it around stuff and using it to pick things up because it's just a tentacle.
Yeah.
It's not a weapon. And I'm like, okay, that's way cooler than him like holding weird tentacle-shaped weapons.
He's like, I have a double-sided whip. It's like, that's not gonna work out for
Underwater
you.
whip, the most effective weapon ever.
Exactly.
So, he also maybe has additional powers because all these listed powers come from the Bionicle activity books, which are of dubious canonicity. However, I do like that he gets additional powers, so I'm willing to accept them. These powers include slight regeneration factor, and this is very minor because obviously he doesn't repair his eye.
Limited regeneration?
Limited regeneration. And he can also change colors from red to black the deeper down he goes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And he can share memories with sea squid via touch.
The light
the
continuing
way light works.
get less and less potent.
That's what I was gonna say. As I said that, I was like, "That's pretty cool," and then I realized, wait, so does literally everybody else who
because
goes
his
down
color
deeper.
shifts regardless of the light level. You know,
Yeah,
you
sure.
guys wouldn't get it.
Apparently
You're not
not.
intelligent enough. He can also, presumably, share memories with sea squid via touch. I'm like, ooh.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
I'm like, that's cool. And none of these show up in the story ever. None of these three powers don't show up.
Actually, maybe, Thomas. Maybe. Well, no. Never mind. Well, it could be the case. There's the squid that runs back and tells him.
That's what I was thinking of, but I went back and checked the book, and it doesn't say anything about him touching and telepathically transferring
would have been
memories.
cool, though.
Yes. However, I will say these powers are not contradicted in the story. Like, we never see him be like, I wish I had slight regeneration abilities because I cut my finger on a piece of paper or whatever. So, you can believe these if you want. I choose to believe them because I am a believer.
You heard it here first. Thomas is a believer.
Yep. Anyway,
Thomas
so
has officially
that is
changed his name
Coma.
to Justin Belieber.
This just
Man,
in.
imagine
Just kidding.
Imagine combining the word believer and the word Bieber together. That would be crazy, wouldn't it?
Thomas, you're fired.
Anyway, I think Kalma is cool. I've always liked understated
I have
characters.
A thing I want to say. Wait, which eye is it actually that he's blind in? Is it the left one, the right one, or the top one?
It's
Or
his
is it
third
just
one.
ambiguous?
Presumably, it's the
Counting
one
from
on
which
his
order?
top one. I think it's his top one.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of cool if it wasn't though. So all his eyesight was like slightly tilted,
That
and he
would be
didn't
so
actually
annoying.
have like that would be really
Stacked
Actually-
eyesight. I don't think that
His
even give you
depth
any
perception
advantages.
is
though.
yeah
Slump,
because
dude.
you don't have the stereoscopic like effect.
Yeah.
Huh. That's crazy. Actually, I want to think about that. How that would work.
Just imagine
But
your
anyway,
depth
it's-
perception being at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Mm.
Would it even work though? Because I
Yeah.
don't know.
Anyway, I think it's his top eye. Top eye, the squiddy man. Anyway, did you have any other questions about Kalma?
No, not really.
Okay. We're on the thoughts section of Kalma, though. So if you have any thoughts about Kalma, which I know you do, you can't hide them from me. Get them out now.
He's a slimy little guy.
He's not little.
He's a
He's
slimy
normal
big guy,
size.
actually.
He's a
Big
big
guy,
slimy
SpongeBob.
boy.
Either way, he's definitely slimy. You know what? Add another one to the slimy counter, Samuel.
Slimy. Slimy big freak. Anyway, I like Kalma
Just
because
have
he's
like a slimy
understated.
Kalma on the top right of the video for the rest of the video.
Slimy
Ew,
Kalma.
gross. I don't even want to
Just
It's like how the
slightly tinted
xenomorph is-
green or something.
It's like how the xenomorph is like always dripping slime, but it's just like Kalma and he's just dripping slime. Well, let's
move
not talk
on.
about. Thanks for nothing,
Yeah, I
Arthur.
like
Well,
Well, I'm glad to be the guest for this episode. You're stuck with me for a couple hours, dummy.
okay, so I like Kalma. I think he's cool. He's understated, but he's not passive, and he's not a pushover. He rides that fine line of like understated competence, And because he's not like a grand scale schemer, kind of his smaller schemes and political machinations are actually effective, which I like. Because they don't build him up as like a Makuta style. He's obviously got something going on. It's like he'll do stuff, one step ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
So I think it's neat. He doesn't
So
pop in
like
lore,
Koma,
but he
Tom?
pops on the page. What?
You're telling us you like Koma?
Yeah, it's
I
almost
don't
like he's your
think that's
favorite
a-
character or something.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
He's not my favorite Bionicle character. That's obviously Matoran number 5 in the background shot of the Colosseum in
Dude, that's obviously
Legends of
Kalama.
Markjuly.
What do you mean?
Kalama.
Use his name, for God's sake. I mean, for Matanui's sake.
It's
I
not
like
a
that
coincidence
one.
I put Kalama on that test.
I like that one Matoran in the Voya Nui comic with the super weird mask. That's my favorite character.
The one that died?
Yeah, the one that like shows up in just that one panel.
What one panel?
I'll
You're like,
find it.
you know that
I'll
one
find
panel
it.
is like, I haven't
There are
memorized
hundreds
every
of
panel.
panels, but that one.
I'll find it.
The one panel
guys
is
continue
real!
talking.
What panels? Anyway,
one-
speaking of panels and one, Elec. Alec, he's an eel. Or I guess an ale.
He's a his
Get
name is
it?
Alec.
Yep.
So, he ruled the Western Islands, and this includes the island of Zakis. So this guy is, high level. And in fact, his species comes around, it lives underwater near and around Zakis. So I like to think they were made as like built-in quarantines to be like, don't let him off the island, please. However, they have a little extra sauce, this species does, because they were engineered by the Order of Matanui specifically to fight Makuta should they ever turn bad. This is why they have proto-steel claws, so that they can break through Makuta's proto-steel armor.
So it begs the question, where did they all go when the Makuta turned bad?
Obviously, the Order of Matanui was like, we didn't think that far. Yeah, I didn't think that
I
was
get the
funny.
feeling that the Order of Matanui didn't think that far ahead often.
Yeah. Break in
not a
case of
one-time
emergency.
thing.
Here's an emergency. Nah, I better save it.
Now they're
So,
just like the Turaga on Matanui. They're like, oh, this is a cool idea. Let's just put it in a cave in Poahi and forget about it.
This could literally save the universe, but oh well.
Imagine you're going in the water around Zakis and you're like, wait, is this just a big old Poahi cave? It's like an ender chest to Poahi caves.
This is in fact
however-
what the pit was all along.
Wow, that's
He was. So, because they lived underwater, they were originally a water-breathing species. Obviously, that's how they survived underwater. So when
So you're
Alec
telling
got
me that the green
mutated,
ones don't breathe air?
that's
Oh,
a
that's a
good
good
point.
point.
Green is not air. That would be stupid. But fire is red, or red is fire, rather.
No,
Fire
sorry.
is
All the other
red.
colors
My
are up for
bad.
grabs. He was originally a water breather, and what he got from the mutation of the water is the pit water is his electric spines. So his species don't actually have electric spines. That's just a him thing. Which I'm sitting there and trying to imagine. I'm like, I can't imagine him without those spines. He would look super stupid, honestly. So his electric spines are what give him an advantage in fighting over a lot of the Barraki. So it's pretty much just a straight buff for him. However, pre-mutation, he had two interesting things about him. One, he had to wear a complex suit that allowed him to breathe when he was above land, and his army had a vastly disproportionate number of his own species in it. So I'm guessing he had like a mostly aquatic army, which is actually really cool. Like he could like blockade islands and stuff with just a bunch of proto-steel clawed dudes, which I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That is
I don't know
really
if they had
cool.
proto-steel claws back then, but you get my drift. That is a pretty cool Matoran, Jacob.
right.
He's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Right.
The mask of being a spooky little guy.
Yep.
All right, that's a new
Anyway.
counter. Let's get it on stream, guys. Come on.
So,
We're gonna have so
Alec-
many counters. The counter is gonna go insane this episode.
We're just
The
gonna
counter.
have like 20 counters on screen at all times. They're perpetually going up.
They're just gonna be overlapping and like popping up like just all over each other.
bing, bing, bing. So, going back to Alec, he is very twitchy and temperamental. he also hates Matoran and was a brutal dictator, which when you're in a club of brutal dictators is pretty bad. It's like, oh man, this guy was particularly brutal. Ugh. Ugh. So he also believed that there was a traitor to the Barraki, and he thinks that Prydak knows who it is. So that's why he tried to go raid Prydak's cave when he was gone dealing with other stuff.
So what exactly would a traitor to the Barraki be doing?
Betraying them?
Yeah, but like in what way? Like how do the Barraki lose? Like if their primary adversary is the Matoran, like
he thought the traitor was during the League of Six Kingdom times, and he thinks someone ratted them out to the BOM when they're trying to attack Markjuly.
That makes way more sense. I was like, that doesn't. That seems very low stakes.
Imagine, like, I know who the traitor is, and they just like stole one of their sushi rolls or whatever. He's like, so he also hates Matoran because they destroyed his fortress when Markjuly landed on it.
That's a reason.
Which I'm like, you know what? I'll give you that one, eh? Like, they deserve it. Inconsiderate jerkwads. It's like, you're not supposed to park there. And also, presumably, he spent like hundreds of years building that fortress. And it says that like he built the fortress. So he was the only one who did it. Like, he's the only one that lost anything.
That's a good point.
I'm like, what a bummer. Anyway, funny stuff. Going on to his traits. So he has, guess what kind of army?
How did he not get crushed along with the fortress? Was he just out one day? Or
he wasn't out, in it, yeah. He's just on, imagine you're going on I guess that's a very
Sunday afternoon stroll. Swim.
Wait. Wicked Witch of the East was also out and about, and then a giant house landed on her. So I guess in this reverse scenario, Alec is out and about, and a giant house lands on his house. What is with green people and houses falling out of the sky? Okay, evil green people.
That's crazy.
And then the place where the house lands is now full of short villagers.
Little people.
Yeah. And
colorful little people.
And then the heroes have to go on a quest and follow a golden object.
True.
It's great. The Wizard of Oz ripped off Greg.
Yellow Brick Road.
The yellow Lego brick road.
Now we're talking. Anyway, so wait, no, never mind. I was gonna say something funny, but I realized it's too funny. People wouldn't understand it. So, he has a venom eel army because I guess he looks like an eel. He doesn't really look like an eel at all, does he? I guess the large eyes,
really.
But that's pretty much it. Anyway, he also has spines that can generate electric shocks, and these are pretty powerful, but they're not in like one-shot territory or anything. He also has proto-steel claws, and for the first time ever, these are not replacements for his hand. They are actually grafted on claws. Think like kind of Wolverine style.
Yeah.
He also doesn't have any armor. That's like, he's pretty much just an unarmored dude, which is why he's very agile and like able to go places. But like, you hit him and he's gonna take a lot of damage. So, one interesting semi-canonical fact is that he charges up his electric shocks by collecting stones of energy, which normally are light stones because they have charges in them. And you can actually see this in the Barraki cinematic because he picks up a stone and then starts charging up his spikes.
Oh, interesting.
Which I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. However, it never comes up in the story, so like kind of Kalma's powers, take it or leave it as you wish. It doesn't change anything.
It would actually be like a super, like I can totally visualize this. Like he's walking through Markjuly, like touching the lights, like if they have light stones along the paths, and he's just like touching them and like sucking out all of the light as he's just walking past and charging up his spines.
And then like 5 Matoran go and rush him and he's just like boom, Palpatine zaps him. That would be sick. Oh man. Someone needs to animate that now. It's like the Darth Vader hallway scene.
Throws a brick at him just because he can.
Kevin McAllister. Oh, that would be funny. So, I don't really have any thoughts on Alec. He's fine. He doesn't get any major wins though, which is a pretty big bummer. Like you think for like the kind of the feisty, wiry sort of fellow, you'd want him to like, you know, like maul someone, but he never
Samuel,
does. And he never
advocate
uses his
for your
proto skill
guy.
clause.
Well, okay, and really, I'm not gonna advocate for him because I think
What are you, a
he's
traitor?
no,
Great ass.
maybe.
Hey, like looking in the mirror, I know who the traitor is.
No, what I was gonna say is like it's weird that he doesn't. So, I feel like you had the perfect opportunity to make the more like cunning, Weasley, slimy sort of character,
Slimy.
who's the eel, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, nah,
Yeah.
no, we're just not gonna do that. It's like, why even have the eel like represent him at all?
We've clearly established that Kalma's the slimy guy.
That's true.
Kalma just
But
stole
you know
his
what I'm
entire
saying?
domain.
Like, he has virtually no connection to the eel. At least, like, Kalma looks like a squid, and Prydak looks like a shark in some elements.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can see the resemblance. Alex, like, what if we don't make him look like an eel? And what if he has none of the characteristics of an eel? It's like, but he's going to be based on an eel.
No, see, he zaps things like an electric eel, Samuel.
Oh, brilliant.
It's actually so funny because when I was like writing out the technical section, I put for Eli based on an quote unquote eel very loosely.
Yeah.
He was inspired by true events of eels. Yeah, I just think Alec was kind of a missed opportunity.
He could have had more going for him.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that like he just absolutely hates Matoran.
Yeah,
For-
it's so funny to
For
me.
like both completely like he's just seems to be naturally biased, and then also for the fact that they crushed his home. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I would understand this.
Yeah, the crushing home thing, I'm like, go get him, Alec. Like, that's on them. Stupid Matoran. So-
Yeah, why can't you control where your Chunga Island's falling, you stupid Matoran?
Yeah, twice. They couldn't control it when it was going up and couldn't control it when it was going down.
Good point.
They do get a bit of, Alec does get a bit of comeuppance and downfall, though, so we'll get to that when we cover that book. So, now we move on to
It
Mantax.
just cuts to the island both times, like being propelled by Jovan's thrusters or something.
Jovan
Specifically
carrying the
Jo-
entire island up. See, Voyanui wasn't propelled out of the universe by the Great Cataclysm. Jovan was just flexing his muscles and just shooting it straight up.
Accidentally squished himself in the process, but we don't talk about that part.
No, he got mutated with going through the pit waters and turned into Jala's Hannah crab.
That would actually be crazy.
That would be so hilarious. But anyway, we move on now to Mantax, who is a Ray guy. Like he's not a particular kind of Ray, but I guess Stingray is the closest to what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
he has a tail, so
He does,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he does
Although it's
kind
not
of
a
hide
stinger
under
tail.
the ground, like a manta ray, kind of.
that's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do manta rays do that or stingrays do it? I think manta rays do, right?
That hide.
Yeah.
You know what? We're not
I don't
biologists.
know enough about
We're-
rays to know.
Yep.
If any
Let's just say they
biologists
both
are
do it
here.
and call it a day.
There you go.
Yeah. So, Mantax controlled the central part of the universe, which seems really broad and vague. And it is. Because the whole theme of this guy is broad and vague. Because he's one of the broadest Barraki. Like, his shoulders go out like crazy, and his entire head looks like it's been flattened by a steamroller. And
Bro
he's
is
also
wide.
very
Samuel, put
secretive
the
and
wide
withdrawn.
Putin walking meme, but with Mantax's head on it. Thank you very much.
The what you're doing what mean?
Yeah, the wide Putin, the walking one. Where he's just
Oh yeah,
it's
where he's like
the
short and
goofy
wide.
music.
Yeah, exactly like that, essentially. So
But
he's
with
very
Mantax,
yes.
I have information. So the stingray is actually the one that hides like on the underneath the sand.
Okay, so he's just a stingray essentially. Do stingrays
Bro.
also have 3 spikes that inject paralytic poison on the tops of their heads?
Not the, not that I'm finding.
Okay. Oh, I wonder what sort of ray has that ability.
Mantax, that's what Ray.
Mantax Ray.
So, playing into his theme of secretive and withdrawn, when he was leading his own kingdom, he actually had secret trade deals with both Zia and Markjuly, but just for his kingdom. The other kingdoms didn't know about it. I'm like, that's actually really cool. Because imagine Prydax like, I need all the weapons I order for you. And they're like, we have one rifle. He's like, that's all you could produce? And they're like, yeah. And then they're shipping off like a box of 20 billion bombs to Mantax. I just think it's kind of funny.
That is actually really smart, though.
Yeah. So, he was also very good at hunting and very patient. So, like, in his mutated form, he would just lay buried in the sand for days, waiting for something to, go by, and then he'd attack it and kill it. Which I'm like, that doesn't seem like a very efficient way to hunt anything, but you do you, I guess. Like, why don't you go to where the thing is and then kind of bury yourself around?
Because then it's really unsuspecting, Thomas.
Yeah. So, he also has an army of rays, and they don't mention what kind of rays.
Light rays?
They're just rays.
Umbra.
Yeah. So, also, nobody fully trusts him, and he doesn't fully trust anyone, because he also believes that a spy ratted out the League.
I wonder
Are these
if
true?
the
Does this
spy
actually
could have
come up?
possibly ratted out the League.
Never knew this.
Yes, this plot point does actually come up. It comes to a head in Downfall,
Naturally.
which everyone should read. That book is good. So, what traits does Mantax have, though? Because right now, he seems like a secretive dude who's wacky, but he also has wacky traits and abilities. Because as mentioned, he has head spikes with the paralytic venom that is super fast acting and can kill targets who have lungs because it paralyzes their lungs. Like, it paralyzes their whole body, and when it gets to your lungs, you just stop breathing and die.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And they explicitly mention in this book, because Holly gets stabbed, and it's like, it's going to shut down her lungs, and she's going to die. I'm like, that's crazy. And it seems strangely brutal to me. I don't know why, but it's just like, your lungs just stopping. Ugh, spooky stuff. Anyway, he's also has a tail that acts like a lightning rod. So like his tail, if electricity is going towards him, it'll absorb into his tail and he will be completely unharmed somehow. Even though like lightning rods are unharmed because they're made of like metal, not because they attract lightning. So I'm like, shouldn't he just be dying?
Cooked to a crisp.
But I'm just imagining that he's like a hard counter to the Toa and Nika. And he's like, he was just one wave late. He's like, I want to get on the land, fight those lightning-based freaks. But this also, of course, makes him a natural counter to Alec, who, of course, shoots lightning-ish. It's electricity of soul. Bleh. So he also has a claw
Thomas
in one
spontaneously
hand.
dies.
He also has a claw that is strong, but is weaker than Karapar's. Because Karapar, we'll get to it. I keep teasing Karapar, but he's busted.
It looks like, honestly, it makes sense, because if you look at the difference between them, yeah, of course, Mantax's is going to be weaker.
Yeah. And also, rays, like manta rays and stingrays, commonly have giant, massive claws that they use to squeeze stuff to death, like crabs.
Wait,
That's
really?
a joke.
I was like, what? That's not a thing.
You believed a biology fact from me, Jacob?
You're right. I was a fool.
Have I
We
got the
also
green
believed
fever
the
for
good
you?
guy stuff from a couple episodes ago. We didn't learn our lesson.
Don't trust anything I say. Like
Bro.
Mantax, I'm a liar. So, he could also sense
The whole podcast
electric
revolves
fields.
around you telling us the lore. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Question everything. Okay, trust but verify. Okay.
But how?
But one last note, and this is real. He can sense electric fields just like Prydac does, because apparently rays also have that ability. Which I'm like, okay, that's a real biology fact for you. So I actually like Mantax a lot more than I used to, because I used to just have access to the comics and the Makuda's Guide to the Universe. I'm like, this guy is lame. He doesn't do anything. But in Downfall, he gets a moment to shine. And also, I think his fighting style and powers are cool. So I'm like, he moved up, in my opinion.
I do appreciate that he is much more ray-coded. Like, he actually has traits that you would associate with rays.
Yeah, like
So
he's
it's-
all the Jedi. Instead of shooting
the manta rays.
and get it because he can like absorb and deflect lightning.
Brilliant.
Genius.
Anyway, I can appreciate that they
And
actually
he hides in the sand.
Okay, that one's actually pretty good.
Its course is rough and it gets everywhere.
What?
That's just nothing.
I don't know what that was.
I think he said it's coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere, but that's not a Ray thing, Jacob.
I know, but
She
it's
likes
still a
sand.
Skywalker thing, so, you know.
Whoa. Did you just say Ray is a Skywalker? You're banished.
What's your name? Ray Skywalker.
Ray what?
Ray Liotta.
Oh.
Anyway,
No.
do you have any thoughts about Mantax, Arthur?
The existence of man tax also begs into question: is there the existence of woman tax?
That's a good
Sorry, I have literally
question.
nothing. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
Now that begged into question: who is the tax collector in Bionicle? Is it Botar? Or is it just like
Botar
Turok
shows up to
or
your house.
whatever?
Give me the money. He would be the ultimate tax collector,
He
wouldn't
really would, yeah.
And you just go to debtor's prison if you can't pay, and it's just the pit again.
It's a separate
Everything
section of the
in
pit.
Bionicle, if you go to jail, is just a pit. Forever.
Every time.
Dude,
It
imagine
doesn't
like
matter what you do. You cross a street on a red
You
light.
jaywalk.
jaywalk
Botar's like, I'm there.
Does that
No,
mean
there's a
everything that
crosswalk here, I
Akmu
swear.
has done is not considered a crime? Because otherwise he would be in the pit like 100 times already.
Such a good
That's a
point.
good point. That's a very good point.
They're implicitly endorsing Akumu's action.
Just poisoning all of Metru.
Which are just like, yeah, this is fine.
Dude, now I'm just imagining a real life jail where like jaywalkers and debt prisoners are next to like Hitler and Stalin. It's like, this seems like a weird prison, doesn't it? Like, what are you in for? Then you tell them jaywalking and they just kind of scoot away and look at you fearfully. Anyway, so moving on now to Karapar. And in case you couldn't tell, this guy,
It's a bug.
yep, he's a bug.
He's a
He's a,
bum.
but
Man,
he's
I
a
was gonna
special
say
kind
that.
of bug called a crab.
But not a Manus bug.
Not a man.
Yes,
It's a
true.
bug,
Yes.
no. Right.
So, he ruled the south of the universe. So I imagine him with like a southern drawl. It's like, hey y'all, I'm Karapar.
I'm Karapar. How
Does that mean he was ruling over Matanui's feet?
I bet Jacob knew that. So he is a charming, disarming, and straightforward fellow. I really like Karapar, okay?
He's
'Cause
charming, really?
Yes, he's actually very charismatic. So like he speaks eloquently, he speaks in like full sentences, he has reasoning behind his sentences, and he is confident and very aware of his limitations. So like he goes in for fights when he knows he is going to win. Like when he's grabbing Alek, he's like, I can withstand a shock, so I'm just gonna snap him in half if I need to. It's like, okay, that makes sense. When Brutaka shows up, he isn't just dumb, I'm gonna attack Brutaka. No, he schemes and plots with the rest of the Barraki to wait for a giant squid to drag him away. It's like, he's not dumb.
Huh.
So, I like him. However, the source books will bag on him all day. They're like, Karapar's the dumbest guy ever. He can't think for himself because Takadox is always mind controlling him. I'm slipping into the southern draw. I am becoming Karapar.
I am becoming Karapar, destroyer of the crap.
And in his anger, he became Karapar.
And it's even said in the past that he used to be even more cunning. Kind of think like a Vezok Vezon situation, like pre-Vezon Vezok, right? Because he made peace with a village. He's like, I can't take this village. They're too heavily defended. He's like, we'll make peace. And he's like, here's an offering of food. But then all the food was poisoned and they got sick. So he just waltzed in and took the entire village.
Trojan horse.
Exactly. I'm like, dang, bro, that's pretty brutal. Because like when you see a giant, heavily armored crab guy, you don't think this guy's going to scheme and trick his way into victory. So you probably would be more willing to accept food from him. Because like, this guy looks like he eats a ton of food. He knows about food. Yeah. And so
it's just a seafood platter and it's all crab. Just like raw.
Karpar's on a seafood diet. He sees food and he eats it.
Is that why he's such a big guy?
So I said that he is smart enough to know what fights to take and who to ally with, and when his strength gives him a negotiation advantage. And I said, to support this point of him being smart, you could even spin his subservience to Takedox as a strategy. Now this may seem like cope, but I'm gonna go for it, okay? I'm huffing copium out the wazoo. Because since no one is going to kill or severely punish Karapar, because they'll be like, he's just under the service of Takedox. It's not really him. I'm going to go kill Takedox instead. So he gets away with more physical threats and violence than anyone but Prydak, because they're like, he's obviously under orders from Takedox to do this. And like and you see this play out in like City of the Lost, because he's like strangling Elec until he's like, Takedox wants you to stop. And then Elec's like, okay. And then they go team up to go raid Prydak's stuff. He doesn't see Karapar as the one who's actually doing the threat. But Karapar is still, once he's done fighting Elec, under his own, or even that whole time he wasn't hypnotized by Takedox. He was under his own power, just using the authority of Takedox's position, which I'm like, that may be unintentional, but still what happens in the story.
I can just imagine half the time, you know, Takedox getting completely in trouble and every 2 seconds pulling the, wait, let me tell you something kind of thing.
Now I'm just imagining Karapar being the one to steal everyone's sushi, and they'll be like, Takedox was the traitor, I knew it. I don't know why they're all eating sushi. Yeah. So
the reason why they all have a seafood diet is because they've been stuck in the pit for so long. You know, it's the only food that's available.
That would make sense.
No, that can't be it. That's crazy, bro.
The pit wasn't always underwater, though.
Well, the pit jail wasn't always underwater. The water-filled place was always underwater.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm saying the jail wasn't. Or it wasn't always
You're
exposed.
telling me that the water is where the water was?
I know. The water was underwater.
The water is
Under itself.
Water is wet, okay? And we'll leave it at that. But what we're not leaving is Karapar, because we're going right back to Big C. See, he also has a very powerful upfront army with the Kiris crabs and pit war tortoises, which are one of the ugliest looking combiners I've ever seen, but they're very cool in lore. Not that they show up much, but they're called pit war tortoises, and Karapar uses them as a mount. So I imagine like the Rudaka scene where she's riding in on the giant Kagurok, like just transpose Karapar in on one of those things and you're golden. And also riding a mount underwater is just a sick concept. Although they're turtles, so I don't think they're very fast.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's ugly. The Alec head is weird.
It has an Alec head with a Karapar jaw. Come on. That's pretty sick.
I mean, it's not the worst combiner I've ever seen.
I said it's one of the ugliest, okay? Not the ugliest. I don't know how he controls tortoises if his domain is crabs. I guess
That's
because they're both armored,
also.
They're like, I guess, you know, it's the same.
If it has a shell, he can control it.
They're both insects, what do you mean?
That's true.
They're all bugs, really.
Is it a tortoise? Is it a manus? I don't know. They're both insects.
And one last fact, before we go into his specific traits, is that he did not like Takedox, which I hope is for very obvious reasons, being that he like was constantly hypnotizing him to like grab him stuff and trinkets and food and whatever. So, although if he does use a pit war tortoise as a mount, going back to them for a little bit, that's got to be super slow, right? Because they're not pit war turtles, which are the kind that swim through the water and can go fast. It's a tortoise, which have like a max speed of like 1 mile per hour. So like he's like, yeah, guys, I'm gonna be there in like 5 to 9 days.
Look, I feel like Greg Forsey wrote a little bit of a spelling error. It's more of a torquetus because they have high torque.
Oh,
all right, I'll leave the show now.
Imagine he gets on the pit wartor's like. It's an internal.
It's like the sloth character from Zootopia, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, going on to now his specific traits. First is that he was a good fighter, and he is physically stronger than Kreka. This is stated by Greg himself in multiple power scaling posts, which means this is a Kreka upscale. Because Karapar is stronger than Kreka, and he still gets beat by Makuta and his armies. This means that Kreka, who, you know, of course, tied with Gorast in a fight, survived a fight with Gorast, upscales from Karapar. Yeah, so this is the infinite loop, because Karapar is stronger than Kreka, but Kreka is clearly stronger than Karapar.
Okay, buddy.
And
wait, that reminds me,
he got
we have
mutated,
like a merch thing of Kreka, like a Kreka upscale, like merch idea, but it's like the Stonks meme.
well, it'd be like, I meet someone, they're stronger than Kreka. Kreka upscale, they leave, I meet someone.
Fair enough. Oh, Lord.
So, write that down, actually, Samuel. That's a good emerge. Give that to Jared now. So, his strength was also increased by the pit mutation. So he was super strong before, and now he's super duper strong. And to illustrate this point, Greg, when he was doing this, they were like on little cards or whatever. All of the Barraki had stats, and the numbers on all the stats went from 8 to 12. So it'd be like mind, 12, agility, 8, you know, endurance, 9 or whatever. On strength and durability, on strength and toughness, Karapar has 14. So I'll remind you, the scale is from 8 to 12. He has 14 on strength and durability. No one else has 14 in any stat.
Wait, do you think that's just like a typo, or do you think...
No, he's just busted.
Out of
How strong is
why
Karapar?
Scale
Yes.
1 to 12. Why 12?
So if you want to know how strong Karapar is, there is a scale Greg gave. So in terms of strong characters, you have Kreka at the bottom, which we know to be a lie, of course. Then you have Karapar. Then you have Radak. Then you have Botar. Then you have Brutaka. Then Axon. Then Makuta. Then Nocturne. That's how the strength scale goes. So, I think it's a pretty close club with Radak, Karapar, and Kreka. And then I think the next 3, Axon, Brutaka, and Botar, are all similar to each other. And then Nocturne and Makuta are comparable to each other. So, like, if Karapar tried to fight Botar, I think he'd get folded like a tin can. But you never know. If Kreka tried to fight anyone, he'd win instantly because, you know, he's too powerful. So, that's how strong Karapar is. And when you're in a underwater setting where no one else has any crazy abilities, physical strength is actually an attribute you can rely on, which I think is kind of cool. Now, he's not just strong though, because he's also has nearly impenetrable armor. So, Prydac can bite through it, and he's scared of Prydac because of that. But that's it. Nothing else can really get through his armor because it's so heckin' tough. Except for Alek's special shocking ability, which seems to be the ace in the hole for him. So he obviously doesn't like Alek because, you know, he can get through his armor. However, if Prydac did try to get through his armor, it said that it would take some time to do so. So he would be there kind of gnawing through his armor, which kind of gives credence to the fact that he couldn't bite through Protosteel, because if he can't even get through Karapar's armor, he's not getting through something with the durability of adamantium, right? And Greg did say if Prydac tried to bite through his armor and take some time, Prydac would die because Karapar would just crush him, you know, because he's right there. He can't escape.
All I'm imagining right now
What
is just
That's so cursed. That needs to team
all
up
I'm
with
imagining
the.
right now is just Prydak attacking Karpar, and then Karpar with like comically large scissor hand just cutting him in half. He just floats away lifelessly.
Karpar's like, you need a haircut. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic with Alec being the only real counter to Karpar. And as we saw when they fought, it's not really a counter, it's more of a deterrent. So Karpar's kind of undisputed best fighter. However, his mind was weakened by repeated hypnosis, and Greg has stated this didn't make him dumb, it just made him think slower. So he can still have valid lines of reasoning and logical thinking and deductive ability and social skills, it just happens at a slower rate than it used to. Which I'm like,
It's kind of sad, actually.
I was like, that's sad, but I think the best way you can do it, because it keeps his intelligence intact, it just makes it less reliable in combat. Which I'm like, that makes sense. I like it. So, I think Karpar is a sleeper hit. If you come away with anything else from this video, know that Karpar is the GOAT, and I love him. He's no Kalma, I'll give him that, but he's definitely top 2 in my opinion.
An insect.
Yeah. And so he's not dumb, he's not weak, and he never actually gets dwarfed. So like, I don't think he ever actually loses a fight that he's in. He's just wonderful all around and treated with great respect by Greg. And he is Greg's second favorite Barraki.
Who is Greg's favorite?
Let me check. It's your mom. Okay. It's an upcoming Barraki.
An upcoming Barraki.
Yes.
I wonder who that could possibly be.
It could be you. It could be me.
Really be anyone.
So, yeah. Any thoughts on Karpar? Any praises to heap upon my glorious king?
I like Karpar, and when we talked about him in the City of the Lost episode, I was like, oh, I didn't know all this stuff about Karpar, and I definitely did gain more of a respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is interesting, though, is like, I think he gets a bad rap largely because of his set. Like, as a kid, he was the least interesting one to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I never cared to know anything about him.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of goes back to that, like, brownish, like, he's brownish yellow and as a character. And it's kind of like, oh, that's boring. Why would I choose him when I can have, like, the neon green one and the
glowing
electric blue one?
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Yeah.
The red one.
And the red one.
When I can have the fire guy. I agree. His set is probably the second weakest behind Mantax in my opinion, or in front of Mantax. I think Mantax is the weakest set, then Karpar the second weakest. They just hated people with big claws.
Yeah.
They were
I
too
feel the
scared.
same.
Heads.
I don't really love Mantax. I think Karpar's actually better than Mantax.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No,
No
I
offense,
was,
Arthur.
I was with Samuel.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oh.
I see how I stand now. Fine.
Okay, so now we move on to Takadox. Dun dun dun. And and so you may think that Takadox is based off of some sort of sea creature. That's a lie. He is based off the praying mantis, which is not a sea creature.
It's not.
Wait, I thought he was like based off like a bullet
can
shrimp
be.
or something.
You thought what?
That he was based off a bullet shrimp.
That's what I thought too. But Greg himself has said, I always thought he was based off of a praying mantis.
So there is a kind of shrimp called a mantis shrimp. That,
Yes.
I'm going to be honest, is probably what he's based off of. Because
But he doesn't
kind of
look
glowy.
like a mantis shrimp.
He has a similar vibe, though.
Is the mantis shrimp the one that can see, like, it has like 12 more color receptacles than
I think
the
all
human
shrimp
eye?
had that, don't they? Or is it just a mantis shrimp?
I don't.
I only know the shrimp colors meme. I don't know any. Man, we need a biologist on here. Stat, okay?
If you're
If
a bio-
Takadox could see
you
more
want
colors,
to
would he be
join
more or less
the Brock
racist?
Repeat that, Arthur, but slowly.
If Takadox could see more colors, would he be more or less racist?
That's a good
That's a
point.
really good
Maybe that's why the
question.
venom eel tried to take him out, because it's not
The
racist.
venom eel is not racist. You're right.
I didn't hear the first part of that, so that took me by surprise.
And that's what he's trying to hypnotize. He's trying to hypnotize the eel into being racist.
No, he's like trying to hypnotize him to go after Karpar. You do not like insects, but he's also an insect and he gets hit.
Now I'm just imagining Takedox as like Nick Fuentes. Anyway. So, Takedox, when he was on land, he ruled the eastern lands. Nothing of note really there. But he had the most obedient army in the entire League of Six Kingdoms. This is because he hypnotized them. And
That makes sense.
other little fact, he is the traitor. Just like Admiral Hux, you know, another thing Star Wars ripped off Greg,
He is the
the
spy.
concept of traitors. What, Arthur?
He is the spy.
Yep, I'm the spy. So, this
I'm
is
the
why
guy.
he was the first to join the League. And this is also why he forced Kalma to join by cutting off his territories with Prydak. Because he's like, now they're all going to be consolidated. So, he made a deal with the Brotherhood. He's like, if I give you detailed information on what's going on, he, in return, got a little stone that was a Brotherhood rite of passage, essentially, which meant that they couldn't prosecute him at all. They could just let him go and do his business or whatever. So when it all went down, he was going to use his stone to be like, hey, I'm not with them. But then Botar showed up and took him to the pit. So the entire
He's like,
clan
but
back-
wait, I have this stone. And Botar just looks at it and he's like, why are you showing me a pebble?
I'm like, oh man, it's hard. It's rare to see a plan backfire so hard.
That's actually really sad.
I know. I'm like, what a bummer. So he also has an underwater insect army. So yes, his army is entirely made of bugs. However,
But
they never show up in the story.
do they actually not?
Nope.
Why?
Like it mentions that like the
That's a
Barraki,
good point, actually, now that I think about it.
they
You're
don't
right.
show up in the comics. They don't explicitly show up in the books. Like it says the Barraki gather their armies, but it never mentions specifically the insect army. It doesn't mention any types of insects that are in the army or ever show them fighting anyone else.
It's just all.
I mean, to be fair, like, can you think of any underwater insects?
No. The mantis shrimp.
Yeah, right? And so I'm thinking that's probably why they wrote that, and they're like, this doesn't really, like, we can't come up with anything that would be threatening at all. And they're like, so let's just pretend like, you know, it doesn't really matter.
There are some underwater insects, but they are very small and not particularly terrifying.
That's
I
what
know.
I'm saying. Like, if they were, like, abnormally large, you know,
Yeah.
if they were,
A pit war insect or something.
yeah, exactly, then it'd be like, yeah, okay, that would be kind of cool, but if
I can
they're
just
regular
imagine-
insects.
I can just imagine Takadox being like, I will krill you, and then he just sends out a swarm of krill that act like a swarm of locusts and just eats everything.
Yeah. See, he could do that because there's no like whale Barraki who would just eat all the krill. Wait,
Oh, he can
this
have
is why he hit.
Silverfish.
This
can
is
be-
why he hypnotizes Karapar, because Karapar is a crab and has his crab army, which we know are bugs. So by proxy, he has a bug army.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep. It's all making sense now. Bro, he could have ruled Karzani. Well, no, because the Mantis crabs are underwater bugs. They're just on land, normal bugs. So he couldn't have ruled Karzani. Sad. However, going back to it, he is a sneaky and treacherous guy, in case you didn't get that by looking at him. Like his
And
character
from
design.
the fact that he betrayed his comrades.
Yeah, comrades. They weren't communists. They were just normal dictators. So, no one likes him either because he hypnotizes people and is an abrasive jerkwad. And so they just ignore him most of the time. And he mostly gets by in social situations from his hypnosis. Like, he's not actually a good schemer or planner. Like, he was the spy, but two people figured out that there was a spy, and his spy plan also failed. So it's like, you're garbage at this.
Wait, so question, did the two who suspected there was a spy figure out that was the spy?
So Alec and Mantax suspected there was a spy, but I think Mantax figures it out in Downfall.
Okay, because you said it was it was brought up in Downfall, but I didn't know if that meant that it was just revealed that he was the spy, or someone figured out he was the spy.
I think it may have been revealed. Well, we'll have to go over it when we go in the episode, but it comes out some way or the other. But they were like, I knew there was a spy, I just didn't know who it was, I think is how it was.
Yeah.
So, he is said to be as smart as Zaktan. I don't think this is true. Zaktan seems to be much smarter, and more effective in every endeavor.
Yeah.
However, Zaktan is also made up of tiny little bugs. So he could have hypnotized Zaktan.
And after Nupru would have been done with Zaktan, they would have been underwater insects.
Exactly,
That's right.
because
prototypes are bugs. Maybe he had a whole army of giant prototypes.
When Zaktan becomes an eel, is he still made out of prototypes, or does he become a flesh tube?
unclear.
That is fair.
So, going back to it, he also creeped everyone out. Just like how Zaktan creeped everyone out because he's made of bugs. So I'm guessing bugs equal creepy in the Bionicle universe, which they kind of do in our real life as well. So essentially, he was meant to be Zaktan coded because he's creepy, he's off-putting, nobody likes him, except that he's not the leader and he's not good at what he does. So he's like Zaktan coded, but without any of the code. Wait, no. Any of the game does any of the function. I'm trying to make a coding analogy, but I don't know. He's Zaktan coded. He's not Zaktan compiled. There we go. any coders out there, that joke is for you.
It's not for you.
It's for the biologists out there.
Every single coder just unsubscribes.
Yeah.
They hack our HTML. Not ours. YouTube's HTML. You know what I mean? I own YouTube because I am red.
They fit the second HTML. Never mind.
So, going on to his traits, he is the weakest of all the Barraki, physically that is. He's also weaker than Toa are on average. So like this guy is like near Matoran levels of strength, which is pretty bad. And he's not skilled in combat or any particular area of like mastery. He has no skills. This guy lives in his mom's basement. He essentially just relies on his hypnosis. And when he got mutated, his hypnosis got buffed super high. So it got buffed by, Greg has stated, about 100 times more powerful than what it was when he was a normal dude. I'm like, huh, that's a pretty big increase. No wonder he uses it all the time, because that's straight up busted. And as a quick side note, he also carries 2 daggers, which are those hook arm looking things. And those are actual just daggers he stole from Hydraxon's body. They're not crafted onto him. And they're not actual claws. They're just
so he
daggers.
has just normal hands.
Yeah, which I'm like, that I did not expect. So
That
he's
is
just a
really
weird guy.
freaky little guy.
Yeah.
That is so
I wonder
weird.
if he
What the heck?
chooses to hunch like that as well. Like if he actually can just stand up straight, but he chooses to hunch over to look like a mantis.
No, I buy that.
Yeah, I would
100%.
also
Yeah.
buy that.
True.
Now he just has a chip on his shoulder from his plan going wrong 80,000 years ago that he like physically embodies it now.
Yeah, it's a physical chip on his shoulder. So, going back to his hypnosis, it is 100 times stronger than it was. And here's how it works, because it's really complicated in how it does. So he looks at someone for a bit, kind of like Disney Caw style, and then they become hypnotized. Hypnotized beings enter a trance where their conscious mind is asleep, but their subconscious remains awake. So, like, they can perform Tagadox's bidding when they go out and do things. While this trance only lasts for a short time, individuals will remain susceptible to post-hypnotic suggestion for months, which can cause them to re-enter the trance or carry out a set of instructions without them realizing it. So he could hypnotize you, you'd be like, I didn't feel anything, but then you go by a sushi roll and you're like, man, I just gotta steal that, and then you steal it. That would be the post-hypnotic suggestion triggering at a later date.
Man, this just really reinforces that Ninjago took a lot of inspiration from Bionicle, you know? Because that's literally just scales at this point.
They ripped off from Greg. So, also, the hypnosis is even more powerful than you imagine because it can alter the target's view of reality, making them do things they normally wouldn't. And it can block out memories or create false memories. So he's like, you already ate all of the sushi, and in fact, you want to eat more, and that guy's sushi. And then you'd have to go and try to like kill that guy because he looks like sushi to you.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I'm like, what? Like, even like Makuta illusions aren't this powerful. And his power works on anyone who has a conscious and subconscious mind. So it is more effective on targets with greater intelligence. Further supporting my Karapar is the smartest Barraki. Anyway, that's a bit of a side note. However, it does not work on robots
because... Does this mean that he can completely hypnotize Matanui too?
If it works on a giant Venomil, I don't see why if he looks Matanui in the eyes, he couldn't hypnotize him.
That would actually be crazy.
That would be nuts.
Did it work on the giant Venomil?
It was going to, until it got distracted and almost killed him accidentally. It doesn't work on robots though, because they're robots and they don't have conscious or subconscious minds. It also works on biomechanical and organic beings, although organic beings are harder to hypnotize for some reason. I don't actually know why. Maybe it's because how it interacts with the hardware software is different, but you know, it is what it is. It is also possible because the list of powers underneath his hypnosis is just infinite. He can hypnotize multiple beings at the same time as long as they're all looking at him. So if he's doing like the Isengard scene and he's looking at his army, presumably he could just hypnotize all of them at once like that. Like, what? That's nuts.
Takadox just loves giving seminars.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, guys, time for some training.
And then he gives them false memories so they could actually do the stuff.
That's
Wouldn't that
true,
be crazy?
Actually, that is crazy.
And, get this, his hypnotic ability did not function through psionics and could not be protected against through mental shielding. So this would work on like Brutaka and Axon, maybe even Makuta. And this also further confuses how the mental shielding actually works. Is it like an external process that just protects you from psionics, or is it like, do you train your mind naturally to resist it? So I'm like, I have no clue how the mental shielding works in Bionicle. And to top it all off, he glows in the dark slightly. Canonically, he does that.
Also,
which I think is his coolest ability.
I need to know this now. Who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight? One Takadox or one Vaki?
They're mechanical, so the Vaki. They would beat the brakes off Takadox.
Fair enough.
It also depends on the Vaki, but all of them.
See,
because
can the Vaki not steal Takadox's will as well?
I think they could. Depends on how,
Vaki
because their
powers
effects are calibrated for Matoran. I don't know if they work on higher. Well, no, they do because they work on Toa. So if he has the same willpower level as Toa, yeah, a Vaki would take him out. That'd be funny. I want to see a Vaki beating up Takadox now. Anyway,
who would win, evil warlord or sentry robot?
Single robot boy. Imagine Nupru looking at Takadox being like, one of my creations would annihilate you. So, Takadox was Greg's favorite character to write in 2007.
Dang.
Yeah, which I'm like, wrong choice, Greg. But I can see why you gave him so much overpowered hypnosis stuff.
It tracks. Greg loves his slimy little weasels.
Yes, he does. What were you going to say, Arthur?
Nothing.
Oh, hilarious.
Oh, man.
So, now we move on to the fun facts portion of the video. And before we get into the events proper, because there aren't a whole lot of events. And the fun facts portion, you know what I mean. The FFP. There we go. I don't like the sound of that. Anyway, The Barraki were very hands-on when they fought, which I think is cool. So, like, a lot of warlords like Sidorak are like, I'm not going to touch the rabble while my armies obliterate them, whereas the Barraki were, like, leading from the front when they went to go and attack stuff, which does actually accentuate their combat prowess when they go to fight, like, the Brotherhood of Makuta army, because that means they were probably hand-to-hand fighting some of the stuff out there, which, that's pretty impressive. Like, I could see Karapar doing that and surviving it, but, like, I don't know how Takadox is doing any of that.
True.
Yeah. But they were also, the smartest of them was said to be Makuta level intelligent, which I'm like, that must have been Karapar, obviously. He was Makuta level intelligent. But this gets a bit tricky because some Makuta are pretty dumb. So I'm like, when you say Makuta level intelligent, is it like smartest dog, dumbest human type comparison? Or is it like average Makuta intelligence? Because I think some of them are actually pretty intelligent, like Prydak, Kalma, Karapar. I think they would all stand. Mantax, maybe even. I don't see Elek and Takadox making it past Paraka tier intelligence. Yeah. So I just thought that was a bit interesting. He said they also didn't care about the mask's curses, the Mask of Light's curses, since they saw they themselves as already having the worst fate imaginable. They're like, oh, what's it gonna do? You know, make me schizo? That's not as bad as being stuck in a jail for 80 billion years and then mutated into a horrible looking freak. And I'm like, kind of got to give you points on that one. Yeah, you kind of do have the worst fate imaginable.
That's why they were going to destroy it, right?
They were going to wait for it to naturally destroy itself and then bathe in the life energies.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I'm like, I guess it's your best shot. Greg also said if the Barraki were in Sidorak's place, that they would have killed Rudaka in 3 seconds flat. Because they would have been like, she's obviously a manipulative schemer who's trying to overthrow me, and they would have killed her. Which I'm like, that just proves how smart the Barraki are. And it proves how dumb Sidorak is.
It would have actually been interesting, too, because, was it Prydak had Zia, right? So he would have known kind of the nature of the vortex, too. So he would have been like, yeah, they're not really people you should trust.
Rudaka would have been like, we should let the Toa be mutated, my queen. He's like, throw yourself off the edge. Maybe that's where she learned it, from Prydak's army. Dude, it's all making sense now. That's actually a pretty cool connection if you think about it. Here's another one. Fun fact. None of the Barraki were vegetarian.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they were all carnivores.
Right.
I'm like, this is one of the most random facts I've ever seen, Greg. They're not vegan. They're not even vegetarian. They're pure carnivores.
I think we could have figured that out, though. That's the thing.
I just thought it was funny. And he also said, on a scale of evil from 1 to Pterodax, the Barraki are a 9. But maybe Karapar's a 14. You never know.
I was going to say, though, but 1 to Pterodax.
10 being Pterodax.
Okay, I was like, what?
Which that scale is so funny because Matt Inui's like, I'm fine with an evil level of 9 so long as it's not 10. That's way too much. And it's also said when they ruled the universe that they were making the universe efficient by suppressing all freedom. And I said, Taraga Duma probably got his philosophy from them.
Yeah.
Which he might have been around at that time, so he could have been like, man, I sure like those Barraki guys, how they brutally suppressed their Matoran populations. I should try some of that. And so, the last fun fact is that the Barraki didn't have abilities, partially because BZPers complained that the Paraka had too many abilities. I'm like, huh. That's kind of a bummer. I would have liked to have a few more abilities, but also I'm like, I'm happy where the Barraki ended up ability-wise. I think it fits the tone of the story, and Karapar's the GOAT anyway. He doesn't need abilities, so.
I think it's also more interesting when you see them challenged, right? When they have to use their limited skill set to actually do cool things instead of like, oh, well, I'll just pull out this broken ability to win, or this one, or this one.
I pull out my I'm immune to everything ability, I win. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Stupid Raidak.
So I think it kind of lends itself to some more interesting moments.
Yeah, and it also gives weight to having actual armies, because it's like, since you're not a super-powered nuclear bomb, armies actually are useful because they can overpower someone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the Barraki are pretty cool. Any comments before we move on to events?
I have a question. If you were to give one power to each Barraki, what would it be?
I just give them all Paraka powers.
It's just
to
one
Akadox
to one.
is made up of a bunch of bugs.
Thomas is like, they all have the ability to just send telepathic bolos.
Give them all bolo spinners. No! Imagine tripping underwater. You're high off airweed. Like, I'm tripping underwater.
Oh no!
Yes. So,
Just
now we
imagine
move on
instead
to
of bolos, it was like a lobster trap or something.
the lobster trap spinner. The plastic straw spinner. The pit war tortoise. No. Wait.
It's just like plastic rings, just like menacingly approaching them.
Yeah. The pollution spinner. So, anyway.
Oh my gosh.
We now move on to the events of the Barraki. So this will be pretty quick because we already covered a lot of their events. But, here's the full list. They ruled over most of the universe with a few exceptions, that being Artaka, Markjuly, Daxia, and unexplored southern islands. So they ruled Karzani, and when they ruled the universe, the Brotherhood produced Rahi for them, because since they were ordained, it's like, yeah, go work for these guys, give them Rahi. However, the Brotherhood only did this for two reasons. First, that Daxia, the Brotherhood of Makuta base, was under constant threat by Barraki forces, because at sometimes the Brotherhood was like, we don't want to work with you guys, you're kind of jerks, and they'd be like, we're going to invade your entire island if you don't work with us, and they're like, you can have some Rahi, that's fine. And the second is that the Great Spirit willed it, so they're like, if it was just our island under threat, we would attack these guys, but since it's also our duty to serve, you got to work with them. So I'm like, it's an interesting dynamic, because like Makuta Mizrax is not a fan of the Barraki, but he's like, I don't have much of a choice in the matter. So, going back to it, the League also had a trade pact with Markjuly for 7,000 years. And we kind of talked about this before. It shows the influence Markjuly had over the universe. And this, I think, is what revoked their divine right to rule, when they're like, we're not just going to trade with Markjuly, we're going to take it over. Because they also did it with the explicit intention of overthrowing Markjuly. So if Markjuly's like, these guys are obviously super ungrateful, and they're going to disrupt the entire order of the universe, go get them, Makuta. And so I think that's why the Makuta were then allowed permission to attack them. But that's just a theory. You've used that already.
The Barraki talk show theory.
The army that obliterated all the Barraki was led by Pteradax himself. And he was pretty much the only Makuta present, because the other Makuta were sent around the universe to complete separate objectives at the same time. So like when the Brotherhood attacked the Barraki armies that were assembled there, other Makuta went around destroying their fortresses and like various centers of power that they had on their own individual islands. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. There were also smaller armies around, like around Daxia and stuff, that Brotherhood of Makuta members went and dispersed. So, like, it wasn't just one single battle, it was an entire worldwide coordinated assault against the Barraki, which I'm like, they had no chance against that. 100 Makuta going around taking you out, it's like, what are you gonna do at that point? And then, of course, they got banished to the pit. The funny thing, though, about the pit is that the leaders of the Matoran Civil War also mysteriously disappeared in the same manner as the Barraki did before Makuta could deal with them, too. Also Makuta Pteradax. So that's the second time that a bunch of warmongering people got teleported before he could execute them. And I'm also imagining like 6 battle-hardened, scarred Matoran like, grr, in jail right next to the Barraki. It's just funny to me. And that means also when the pit flooded and everyone got out, we could have this like the 6 leaders of the Matoran Civil War all running around in like some mutated form.
That would have been hilarious, actually.
I know,
Imagine
like that's so
what the
humorous.
Hydruka are.
Yeah. That would be
No,
funny.
that's a great headcanon, actually.
No, like,
Except
I
that
mean,
there are,
like, imagine,
like,
like,
100
the
Hydruka.
Avmatoran turn into Borak, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
True.
No, it makes
so,
a twisted kind of sense.
so that is the end of the events section for the Barraki, because the rest we cover. So, does anyone have questions for the Chronicler Corner? Because if not, we're just going to skip it.
How many Matoros would it take to change a light bulb?
One, but he dies doing it.
Yep. Oh, man. The joke was too obvious.
Imagine, like, a guy that you had who could do one thing, and he would always manage to do it, but he dies immediately after. It's like, what would you do with that guy?
I don't know.
Change my light bulb. They just keels over. That would be a bummer. Anyway.
He just electrocutes himself accidentally every single time.
So, now we move on to the Chronicler's Corner. You are now entering the Chronicler's Corner. The following content may not be appropriate for viewers unaware or unacquainted with the wider Bionicle lore, as major plot points and reveals will be spoiled. If you wish to avoid this section, skip to this time in the podcast.
1 hour, 48 minutes, 36 seconds.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay,
Bum, bum, bum.
so here's my question. How are energy weapons made? Where do they get their power from?
Wait, what do you mean energy weapons? What are you talking about?
Like, in Bionicle, because this is going way back to the weapons thing that we were talking about earlier. So, like, when they're building weapons on Zia, like, any weapon that, like, shoots bolts of energy, you know, or some such thing, how do they make those? What's the power source?
No clue.
Magic.
Infinity Stones.
You're supposed to know. Come on.
They're powered by condensed Vizirac battle rams, Jacob. Vizirac battle rams aren't just a currency, they're also a power source.
They measure power in VBR. So, like, you know,
VBR.
like, so if it's like, you know, 13 VBR, that's 13 Vizirac battle ram worth of power, you know?
Yeah.
You know, that's also how it's like. That's also how they.
It's like
measure
horsepower
too.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the Vizirac battle ram power on this thing?
This baby's got 2,000 VBR.
It can
You
break
open up
down a
just, like,
castle gate in
literally
5 seconds
2,000
flat.
Vizirac battle rams miniaturized, just like crawling around inside of there.
And just like horsepower, how 1 horsepower doesn't mean 1 horse. It's like 8 Vizirac battle rams is 1 Vizirac battle ram kind of power.
Yeah.
It's
I like
become
it.
like standardized over time.
Now I'm just imagining Vortex on Zia, like going around in high, like fancy, like sports Vizirac battle rams, like they're all sleek and whatever.
Rudaka riding one with flames painted on the side. Oh yeah.
Thomas, literally all of them, instead of Kias, they're just Zias.
Zia souls. Zia sold their souls. That would be funny. Okay. Do you have any
good.
other Chronicler's Corner questions, Jacob?
No, that was my only one.
Okay.
What
Arthur.
is the Chronicler's Corner? Not
What?
joking.
It's
Just cut
a
that at
corner
this point, please.
for
Thank you.
the Chronicler.
Masanui's toe.
It's his left pinky toe.
Yeah.
It's his third pinky toe.
It's growing on his heel of his left
Yeah.
foot.
He does have those
But it's
little things
blind.
that, like, stick out of his heels,
Like our
you know?
viewers.
Wait, all his other
Anyway.
toes have eyes? Explain this to me.
Well, no, because Prydac blinded this toe.
Oh my lord.
Anyway,
Okay,
okay.
we're taking
I think we're done
everything.
with Chronicler's Corner. I know we're done with Chronicler's Corner. No more. So, in order, let's give everyone's wrapping up thoughts about the Barraki as a whole, then we'll rank them personality lore-wise, and then we'll end the episode, okay? Part 1 of this episode, because this is a 2-parter. Just like Jaws 1 and 2. That's not true.
But no.
Speaking of Jaws, Prydac.
Wait, so
no.
I was like, how are we doing this?
Overall thoughts.
I'm
first.
confused. So
overall,
what exactly are we doing?
We're doing a overall lore thoughts of Barraki, and then we're going to lore-wise rate them best to worst.
Okay.
This will be the end of episode 1.
Okay, I see.
Okay. So, lore-wise, I think the Barraki are really cool. Like we discussed earlier, the lower power level allows for more counterplay and more visceral fights and impacts. It allows for the armies to be a factor that exists. I like the scheming, intrigue, vibe, and tone of the Barraki. Like, as we stated before, it's kind of a synthesis of the wacky, villainous stuff of the Baraka.
Yeah.
With kind of the legendary, more serious tone, or more grounded tone of Bionicle before it. And I think this is probably my favorite tone of this series. It just feels the most natural to me. Also, the Barraki are cunning. They're not undercut by like stupid plot elements or whatever. You can see why they would be a threat, and you could see why they would all be aligned with each other. Because, like, yes, they fear each other, they respect each other to a degree, and also they're like, they've been together for pretty much the entire history of the universe. They're not just gonna throw that away, right? But when the Mask of Life does come into play, they're like, I might be a traitor for a little bit. I might be a little selfish, keep it to myself. But even then, sometimes they do ally and band together. So I think it's a cool dynamic, especially coming off the Baraka, who are just backstab at the first sign.
Always murderous and conniving and backstabbing. Yep.
And I think it makes for more interesting plots or like schemes between the groups, but it's not quite as on over the top entertaining as the Baraka are. I still think as overall villains, the Baraka are just unbeatable. They're hysterical.
I think generally speaking, the Barraki are just more grounded. They're the subdued version of the Baraka, right? Like you said, they're just more realistic, more believable, less over the top.
Yeah.
And so you lose something with that, but at the same time, it does make for, it helps with the darker tone, right, that they're aiming for, because they're more of a threat in the, like, you take them more seriously than you would the Baraka.
And they have grander goals, which fits with, like, the universe dying.
Yeah, I think that really does make a difference, because the Baraka are always just out for themselves, right? And so it's like you're like, yeah, they could destroy the universe in the process, but unlikely. Whereas the Barraki, like, that is almost their intent, not really to destroy the universe, but definitely they do have grander schemes. Yeah, they want to do bigger things than just get themselves as much power as they can for the sake of having power.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like them. What do you think, Jacob and or Arthur?
I'm kind of right there with you guys. I really like this, like, the scheminess of it that's a little less overt than the Baraka, you know? Like, the Baraka are just, like, out there just, like, constantly just backstabbing back and forth. And it's fun and it's interesting. But there's something just, like, creepy about the Barraki that the Baraka just never had, you know? Like,
and also when, like, the Barraki fight each other, like when they physically go after each other, it does feel like a breach of the social contract. You're like, oh, this is serious. They have a major beef with each other. Whereas when the Barraka do it, it's like, it's
That's
Tuesday.
just,
yeah,
it feels brutal and, like, hard, you know? Like, it's, whereas with the Barraka, it's like, look at this group of goofy guys.
Like in Prisoners of the Pit, when Prydak is just tearing into Alec, you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, that's permanent damage.
yeah.
He's not shrugging that off. Yeah. What do you think, Arthur?
I really like how they took a more serious tone with them. Yeah, because, like, the Baraka were really just the most cartoonish thing you can imagine half the time. You know, like Raydak running through walls because he's impervious to them and stuff. And, like, yeah, like, I just really like how grounded they were. And it's like, they seem like a real threat, but also like, you know, it's like interesting gaggle of fools.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Something that I also like is they feel like they're biding their time in a sense. Because you're kind of like, at least in my view of them, I wonder why are they so... They seem ineffective. Like it feels like they should be able to crush Markjuly, but they just don't. But I think it does play into this idea that's like, well, it's sort of a game to them, and it's not a game that they take flippantly, like, but it's game in terms of like they like to exercise and show their power, right? And their ability. And so they want to push themselves into a stage where that's going to be on the grandest display, right? And so it feels like they're not super trying to defeat the Matoran because the Matoran are more of a nuisance rather than an actual threat. And it gives this feeling to me that they're just, like I said, biding their time. That they're just like, okay, we're waiting for something greater, right? But we don't know exactly what that is yet, but we're maintaining the status quo until we have that ability. And the reason I really get that feeling, other than the fact that it just seems like they're...
I mean, they do explicitly like hunting the Matoran for sport and whatever, and Pradek is like, we got all the time in the world to kill them if they don't just die off themselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like they're not... it's not like their grand foe is the Matoran. It's not like they are... The plot is not them trying to build up armies to conquer Markjuly. It's like, no, they have their eyes set on something much larger, and we just don't really see them move towards that goal yet, but it feels like that is what they're doing. Why they're just kind of, like I said, maintaining the status quo, right? And you get a taste of their actual power when they do decide to attack Markjuly. And like, if the Toa hadn't shown up, Markjuly would have been cooked.
Yeah, Alek's army alone would have taken over Markjuly.
Destroyed Markjuly, right? And so it's like they do have that power, and so there's something that is restraining them, and it's like, and it, to me, the thing that is restraining them is the fact that they have not seen clearly what their next step is, but they have the power to take it when it shows itself, right?
Well, it's cool because they're essentially working on the Bionicle timescale where they're like, it's been like 1,000 years since we've been released from the pit. That's nothing. We're just gonna, we got time, right?
Yeah.
Like nothing's gonna change all that much. But they have actual armies that could threaten entire islands if they were in the Bionicle or the Matoran universe proper. And so they're amassing the necessary power to conquer the universe because that's still their goal. And when the Mask of Life shows up, they're like, I don't know what it is exactly, or if it'll work the way it does, but this is the best and only chance we have to make our big play.
Yeah.
So like they just go after it. And you kind of see that in a smaller scale when Takadox tries to hypnotize the 300-foot long Venom eel. It's like, that's a big gamble. You don't know if it's going to pay off, but he tries and it almost works.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that philosophy.
Yeah. I think, like, I don't know if I articulated it properly, but it's just this idea that, like, the Markjuly is... Yeah, articulated. But it's like this idea that Markjuly is just a nuisance to them, right? And it comes off like that, and not a nuisance that's even enough of a nuisance to just wipe off the map, even though they have that power. And it's like, I don't know, I find that really intriguing and kind of a cool concept. I think it's executed well. So
yeah, I like it. So now that we discussed how cool the Barraki are, but not as cool as the Paraka, I think they're probably the second best canister villains that we have. Because the Paraka are the best, but I think, like, lore-wise, I think they're more interesting than, like, the Borak, or the Rahi, or the Rakshi, or the Vaki, or the Vizorak. All of them. So,
personally,
I think that is interesting.
I find the concept of the Barraki a lot more interesting than the Paraka.
Yeah, I think the concept, because the Paraka are just like a bunch of criminals who want to steal stuff, whereas the Barraki are like warlords cast down into the pit.
Stuff, but as a team.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Paraka do stand out over the Barraki because they're better on the small scale. Like, the Paraka, since they don't have those grand lofty goals, right? Like, they work well in a much smaller story, right? And so it's like you get to see them in all their glory, essentially, right? Because you don't need a grand stage for them to completely reveal what they're capable of. And I think that's where the Barraki fall short in comparison to the Paraka, where it's like what I've been saying is there's this, it feels like there's something that we're not seeing from the Barraki just because they're not in their element, right? They're not conquering islands. They're not,
Yeah, I think the Paraka are much shallower characters.
Yes.
But they have much more bombastic and appealing personalities, whereas the Barraki have all the elements necessary for a great character. It's just not displayed that well.
Yeah.
Like, I think they have the 3 layers, kind of like the Toanika did, where like they have super old guys who are conquering warlords. They have banished prisoners of the pit just trying to regain their former glory. Then they have their individual personalities, likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
It's like they had all the elements there. They just didn't have the time to go into them. It's like, what could have been?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my feelings on it, though.
Like, it would have been really interesting to see them in almost like a Game of Thrones style story,
that's
where
exactly
it's like
what I was thinking.
Huge political streak. Like, the whole thing is just.
I was like, if we had a
Politics.
legacy of evil
Imagine-
for the Barraki, like
Dude.
a whole book just about them and their whole history, that would be so cool.
Imagine Bionicle, but instead of like 1 year or even like a half a year, it's like 2 or 3 years for each wave. Imagine all you could do with that.
3 years of Vaki.
I think with 3
Maybe
years,
3
you could
years
make
of
even the Vaki
Markjuly.
interesting.
Yeah, if they had planned 3 years of Metro Nui from the start so they didn't have to do Hordica, it would have been so good. I can love
I
it.
don't know.
Bro,
I
imagine
have
Bionicle.
mixed feelings about that. I do like the Hordica. I think if the Hordica had 2 years,
True.
it would have been
If Metro
way
Nui just had
better.
1 more year anywhere in the timeline.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Anyway, do we now rate the Barraki?
Yeah, let's
I think
do
we
it.
rate
Okay,
them.
I'll go first because I'm the best. So I'll put Kalma number 1. Shocker.
Wow, I'm
I know.
surprised.
I'll put Karapar number 2. I'll put Pridek number 3. Takidox, Mantax, Alek. That's my ranking, and I'm sticking to it. Kalma's the goat. Karapar's the goat. I don't need to justify my choices. You've seen it all.
I thought Kalma was a squid, not a goat.
Got him.
Squids are the goat of the sea.
Yeah. Like tuna or the chicken of the sea.
Exactly, and manatees are the cows of the sea. Sea
Yes.
cows, yes. I'm a genius. And that's a biologist fact.
That's wrong.
All right, Jacob, you go next.
Okay, here's my ranking. And this is probably going to shock Thomas a little bit, but maybe he needs to be shocked a little bit. I'm going.
Are you
Prydac
Alek?
number
Yeah,
1.
exactly.
Prydac number 1.
Whoa.
Kalma number 2.
Good.
Takidox
Not good enough.
number 3.
Okay.
Then Karpar, Alek, and Tax at the bottom.
Dang. Mantax at the bottom.
Yeah.
Spicy.
It's not that I don't like Mantax, it's just that like there's just not much to him for me. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. That's why I rated him low.
I mean, to be fair, the bottom is where he belongs, like under the sand and stuff.
True.
Peter.
The fact he's on the tier list at all is impressive. Okay, Arthur, what about you?
I would go Kalma, Alek,
Good.
Karpar, Prydac, Mantax, and then Takidox.
Takidox at the bottom.
Bro shooting himself in the foot. Okay, Samuel, what are yours?
I actually really like Karapar. I think I might put Karapar
Did I
top.
sell you
Yeah.
on Karapar?
Well,
I'm a
number
used
one.
Karapar salesman.
When we
That's
started discussing him in the other
crazy.
books, I was like, I really like Karapar. There's something special about him,
Mhm.
right? Like that, yeah. And I think it's the fact that I completely overlooked him for so long makes
Mhm.
me go, wow, he's way cooler. Yeah, it's probably Karapar, then probably Prydac, then Kalma, then Mantax and Takidox and Alek.
So we have a pretty defined top 3 and bottom 3, don't we?
I don't know. It was well, yeah, like Alec and Takadox, except in Jacob's ranking, Takadox is higher.
Good point. Yeah, I
But-
guess we have a pretty clear bottom 2, right? Because we had Mantax and Alec at everyone's bottom 2.
Mantac
No.
Oh, wait, no.
and Alec.
Mantac
Alec
was
was
in
my
my bottom
third
3.
bottom. He was the
Okay.
first of the bottom half.
Everyone say your bottom 3s again.
Alec,
I'll go-
Carpar, Mantax.
Okay.
Alec, Karpar, Mantak.
Actually,
Right.
Frydek, Mantax, and Takadox.
Okay. Because I had Takadox, Mantax, and Alec in my bottom 3.
I might
I
actually do
had Mantax.
Carpar, Alec, Mantax on second thought.
Okay, so Mantax and Alec are in everyone's bottom 3s?
Carpar rose in my estimation.
Hey, Alec is my second one.
And
Oh, your
Alec
second one.
off.
So Mantax is in the bottom 3 of everyone's.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is fair. He's just the lamest
Oh,
one,
man.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
Sorry, Arthur.
but I think...
I'll just leave him. No, I mean, even I put him in the bottom 3.
It's completely
But, like, I mean,
You know,
it's
it's
for like the set, like because we're gonna do the 2 rankings, right? Like character in the story and then the set appeal. He'll be a lot higher in the set appeal, to be fair.
Yeah, I think the set appeals will be interesting to see matched up with character rankings.
Because
But
he has such interesting pieces, like the shoulder pad things. Mm.
yeah, his giant shoulder pads, like 80s style shoulder pads.
He's a football player, okay?
Yeah. So, I believe that is everything we have to say for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, where we go over 2 parts of the Barraki. Wait, no, the parts of the Barraki, because it's the technical section.
Yep.
Get it?
Hey.
That's pretty good. Okay. Well, good night, Markjuly. This brings us to the end of today's podcast. If you enjoyed the discussion, please follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you like to watch instead of listen, you can also find us on YouTube. The Barraki Talk Show is only made possible thanks to viewers like you. Thank you.